I am your host, BearFeezie, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Love Deposit Studios. Speak your feelings with BearFeezie, season 2, episode 5. Man, I'm sure feel good to be here today, man. I do. What we live on both pages.
Sirski.
Okay. Let me get some breathing. Y'all know I be nervous, man. Them cameras come on, I be so ready, JoJo. Them cameras come on, I get to feeling it, man. I sure appreciate you coming out in this weather and you know what I mean, and making sure I don't stop, man, because we'll get beside ourselves. We'll get beside ourselves, man. And I am in the place. I am in the place. So let me get some shares under my belt, guys. If you are tuned in, I appreciate you. I swear I do. Go ahead and share it. Share it to your family, your friends. You know what I mean? If you are tuned in, let's get some people to tune in. Cause hey, we talking black today. You hear me? We talking to the people. I almost let the little month they give us, I almost let it slip. But God is good, man. I got my sweater from my cousin. Shout out to my cousin Nisha. I'm fresh like I always am. Some black folks made my clothes like they always do. And I pride myself. Y'all didn't know that. I'm trying to give a little game in here. I'm trying to give a little game in here. Every time you see me on this set, a black person made my clothes, man. I swear. Every time you see me. So yeah, man, we just we just back doing what we always do. I got my brother JoJo in here. We actually got a special guest in the studio. You hear me? Hey, we got some news you can use today. We got some news you can use today. Um, First, what I usually do is do a recap. Recap, man. Shout out to my brother JoJo for always making sure these lights are on me right. Always making sure I'm looking good when I come across this screen. And making sure I keep working. You know what I mean? JoJo always give me pointers, always letting me know what I need to do, what I need to stop doing. I get nervous, I start twirling my hair. You know what I mean? It's love day, guys. Uh, Speak your feelings with BearFeezie, man. I'm gonna give everybody a chance to call in. If you got a business, some that you want to promote, some that you doing for the community, this is your show. I'm just in front of the camera. So let me know. Inbox me, email me, call me.
It's your bike. I just keep it in my house.
You
It's
know
both
what I
our
mean?
bikes.
It's both ours. Square business. You know what I mean? If you got something that you doing for the community, it's raising the people up. Let me know. You got a business that you need, a website, a storefront that you just opened. Let me know so we can, we can get some promotion to it and get some money in your pocket. If you got some clothes, shoot me something. I'll wear it. You know what I mean? I may not wear it when you want me to wear it. I do choose my own clothes, but unless you paying for, now we do promotion too. We do promotion too. We can help you. Square business. I'm just sharing it, guys, before I get started here. You are live with me, BearFeezie, live from the Love Deposit Studios. If you want to do what I'm doing, you want these lights on you. You know what I mean? There's still some slots open. I know I'm here every week, but there's some slots for you. Come holler at my brother JoJo and let him know what you're trying to do and what you're trying to bring to the people, what you want to talk about. You want to do some interviews and everything that you want to do. I mess around and know some folks that can help you do it. Amen.
Amen.
We need to group up, y'all. They leaving us behind. We need to group up. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, let's get together and come together and stay together. We need each other, man. We need each other. So yeah, man. I am your host, BearFeezie, and we talking black today. First, what I like to do is what I like to do is a recap of my last show. Uh, last show we last show we was talking about being comfortable in your own skin. Last show we was talking about being comfortable in your own skin, and it don't matter what you know. We can't tell nobody who to be with, who to sleep with. We can't tell nobody who they need to love, or we need to mind our own business. What they say, JoJo, mind the business that pays you. Stay out these folks' business, man. You know, if it don't concern you, now if it's concern you, you may have a little input. But if it don't, stay out these folks' business and do what you and more importantly, it was a show on parenting. We wanna, we wanna shield our kids from seeing stuff. Maybe it's time for a conversation to teach your child for when they do, because they gonna see it. Maybe it's time for a conversation. It's time for you to step up and stop thinking you doing something just because you buying them clothes. Just because you make sure they got some cereal and milk. Let's have some conversations, because these children's on these phones all damn day. They in these public schools. They seen it all. Believe me, they have. They got access. You remember you used to have to sneak and watch and steal your mama porn and watch what she was watching. They ain't got to do that no more. They logging right into it. You hear me? It's all they doing is searching for ass. Whatever they want, it's at their fingertips. So let's have these conversations, guys, with these children, and let's let them know what they can expect, what they should be doing, and consistent conversations. As you know, you can't just tell somebody one time and now they know, now they understand, now they've learned it. You got to have consistent, detailed conversations. Bring it back and give them a quiz. Bring it back again, give them a test, then a assessment on what they've learned. You know what I mean? We got to really teach. You know what I mean? So last episode, we just talked about minding our business. And you know what I mean? So, but god damn it, we talking black this evening. we damn sure got some business we need to be minding here in America. If you look like me, because hey, the time clock is ticking. You know what I mean? And if we don't get it together, man. Now, what do I mean by minding our business? Why is this important to us? Now, here in America, I've did some studying. I've read a few sheets in a book. We need business, man. Who owns businesses determines who's in poverty. Who are behind the counter in these businesses, who are putting up these business fronts that we walking past and driving past, decides who is in poverty. And I know you got your job and you living good, but a job is just to keep you out the welfare line. A job is just to maintain you and yours. A business brings on wealth and power. And I'm a little deep today, guys. I'm trying to teach. And I'm trying to teach in a way that folks who from where I'm from will understand, learn, and develop themselves, guys. I could be up here saying about the fight and what Kim and Kanye going through. I could be up here telling y'all the shit but god damn it, we're gonna entertain ourselves to death. Not only are we not having the tough conversations with our children, we're not talking to each other. We want to get together and talk about what the fuck other folks doing. We want to get together and talk about how she looked today, what he had on, some shit that don't concern us. So we talking black today, because I don't come up here just to talk about other motherfuckers. I come up here to promote community development, which begins with self-improvement. We got to get ourselves together, man. So I'm here. I got my notes in my phone today. So if businesses determine who is in poverty, who's owning businesses? Who's the owners? Who's leading in this thing we call race? A race is a competition. It's some people that's out front. It's some people that are called Jewish, Asians, and Caucasians that are leading the race in business development. You go look behind the store counters, you go look up these places on who own all this shit that you buy, and we got a little money now. Now we can buy. Now it used to be a time where you couldn't spend your money with other people. It used to be a time where you had to buy black. You couldn't go in their store. You couldn't ride their bus. You couldn't play in their league. It used to be a time, guys, but now it seems like since they let us buy their shit, we don't forgot about our own, man. So how do you develop a business? Bro, you talking about business? What? I got a job. I'm taking care of my home. Guys, we have to determine, where do our people dominate in population, and where do our people dominate in spending patterns? Where do our people spend their money? Where is it a lot of us? Now, we look at folks, and I know quite a few folks that start pressing up hoodies, pressing up shirts. Why have they decided to press up shirts? Why have they decided to go clothing? Because you motherfuckers love clothes. You know how to put that shit on. You niggas spend their whole life, everything, to put their whole life on the line to trap. They risking robbery, debt sentences, penitentiary chances, just to get this money and go spend thousands of dollars on Gucci. You niggas love clothes. What is Gucci? Do Gucci give special powers when you put their clothes on? Do Louis Vuitton give you a special incentive or a tax write-off when you buy their shit? No. These are people who done branded their name. It's the same material. I seen one time Boosie was in the mall. It was niggas lined up. Now, Boosie got money. And for some reason, Boosie just didn't like these folks lined up trying to buy some Louis Vuitton or whatever they would buy. I forgot. Why are these folks trying to break down the door at other folks' shit? Guys, because we have a mentality. We're not satisfied with us. We don't have that connection and that love and that appreciation for ourselves. And we have to get out of that mindset, guys. We have to practice group economics. You have to spend with your brother before you spend with another. You have to shop with your bro before you spend your money with them folks. We have to practice group economics. What is group economics? What is unity? Now, a lot of us thinking of, I learned from Brother Ben X, uniform. We're thinking we all have to be alike. We all have to listen to the same music. We all have to go to the same church, believe in the same, call God the same name, whatever you call them. We all have to be around each other, dress the same. We have to be like this. And if they not like this, then them not really my people. If they not like this, and now there is some shit that separates us. Some folks come from here, some folks come from over there. So I understand there is a difference. but we're the only people who tell our children to go get an education so you can go get a job. We're the only people who do not practice group economics. A rule in group economics is your money has to bounce between your people 8 to 12 times. This is some shit I learned from Dr. Claude Anderson. I'm telling you this shit like I believe people who are watching me, folks who I talk to, would understand it. I love what you're doing, taking care of your family, paying your bills. But baby, we're not here to just pay bills until we die. We want to pass some wealth down. We want to have a higher platform for our children to build on top of that, their children to build on top of that. Next thing, we're Johnson and Johnson. Our products are on the stores buying with each other. Now, and if it's some Caucasian people, I hate to explain myself. I'm not saying I spent money with Caucasians by default. They own up every damn thing. When I go to the store, everything on the shelf is Caucasian branded, Jewish branded. Everybody else got their own money. Everybody else has product. I'm finna be 35 here in May. My hoes probably for 30 plus years, you've got all my damn money. So if you feel it's a problem for me feeling like that I need to spend with somebody who looks like me so we can have something, so our products can be on the shelves, this show might not be for you if that's a problem for you. Now, group economics, man, and I want to say some stats and just tell you where I'm getting this information from to bring some understanding. Do you know if Black people in America were a country, we will be the top 10 in the top 10 of the richest countries in the world? Black people in America have a $700 billion annual disposable income. And this stat is from years ago. I'm pretty sure it was higher here in 2020. They was giving out PPPs. They was giving out stimulus checks. I'm pretty sure this number is higher, but according to this stat, we were in the top 10 richest country, just Black people alone, with a $700 billion annual disposable income. Meaning the money that we just spend on shit is in the top 10. And that's richer than Sweden. That's a higher disposable income than Pakistan. That's a higher disposable income than maybe most, if not all, of the African countries combined. That's richer than North and South Korea. But when we get the money, first we have to have a business to spend it with. And we have to practice group economics and go spend it with our sister. Go spend it with our brother. Jewish people, they get their money and exchange it almost 20 times before it leaves their community. They need something to eat, they go to a Jewish store. They need clothes, they go to a Jewish store. It bounces 20 times nearly before it leaves the Jewish community. Under them are Asians. Bounces 12 to 14 times. Before it leaves their community, Asians are spending with each other 12 to 14 times. And now, this ain't no shit my mama taught me. This ain't nothing my grandma used to tell me about. So, and I'm one of the guys who's very intellectually smart. I'm one of the guys who can read. I'm one of the guys who does pay attention, slow to speak, quick to listen. And so if you're not thinking about this, we just want to look nice. We just want to take care of our children, eat a little good food, look nice when we step out, make sure our bills paid. Hey, I'm ready to lay down. I'm tired. But guys, I'm in front of this damn camera every Wednesday. This shit is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can find the previous shows of Speak Your Feelings with BearFeezie to educate us as a community the world, Craig. I'm trying to put information out in the world so we can start understanding and start thinking like these people who are leading the race in order to sustain ourselves. Now, Caucasian money, you may call them white people, bounces 8 to 12 times. Hispanics bounces 6 to 7 times. They're on their way. How many times you think the black dollar bounces? We get our check, we'll run you over trying to go spend with these other people. And I'm just giving the information. But today's show is, how the fuck did we get like this? Are we just the slowest people here in America? Are we the dumbest? We the ones that don't give a fuck. Y'all hear the song? I don't give a fuck. Y'all hear the music? Or we just the ones that don't give a damn about nothing? How do we get in this mindset? And I don't know if y'all ever heard me say this. How did the first people here on planet Earth end up in this predicament? That's what we're here to talk about. Now, I needed some help, guys. I was looking on Facebook and I seen that 2/22/22 was a powerful, a high vibration day. And all the way up until that day, I knew what I wanted to talk about. I didn't know how I was going to talk about it and what the hell I was going to say. I scrolled on my social media platform and found a brother that I highly respected. I felt that was highly qualified to speak on this. And he brought my vibration up. I reached out to him. And this brother is Mayhem, the mentor. He's a community activist. He's I forgot it. A servant leader, youth mentor, and now author of Black Massacre, a Black American History edition. My brother is now an author writing books, man. So I want to bring to the stage, without further ado, a very important person who's going to kind of run down some history. My brother Mayhem, the mentor, man. I appreciate you coming, bro. Square business. I didn't know how I was going to get her to understand. How did we get her? Man, what happened to us, Mayhem?
Long story.
Hey, one thing about it, today I got time. You know what I mean? Today I got time, man. We're in a position here in America. I'm a black man. I'm looking around and I'm seeing us. You know what I mean? I love being myself. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But you gotta look at some shit with some understanding, and you gotta be truthful to yourselves, man. So I looked up some facts and some economic numbers and put in perspective our position. Are we just slow?
No.
Are we just don't give a damn?
No.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that. And I feel like I know better than that. But you know, folks get to thinking like this.
I can totally understand. If
folks get to thinking like that, them niggas don't give a damn.
Understanding beat everything, but there's a reason why they don't give a
Hey
damn.
man, let's make sure that mic is okay.
Yeah, there's a reason why they don't give a damn.
Okay.
There's a good reason why they don't give a damn.
How do we get like this?
Okay, look, before we get off into that, I want him to introduce himself. You know, tell us about who are you?
Okay,
you know what I mean.
Help me, JoJo, because I'm ready.
Yeah, I know you. Right. You like to get into the meat, but we want to introduce this guest and tell us who he is, and you let us know why you reached out to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean. But we want to know who he is and what we listening to.
Right. Well, some people call me Mayhem the mentor. You feel me? I'm a youth mentor.
Okay.
You feel me? I like to identify as a servant leader because you know what I'm saying, I do so much things. You feel me? besides write books. I got my own publishing company.
Okay.
But when it comes down to the Black American struggle or something like that, what I'm saying, I have identified and lived a life full of adversity that has taunted or crippled most of our people. My biological father was murdered before I was born. My biological mother passed away 4 months after I was born. So my dad got murdered, New Year's Eve, 1977. My mother passed. I was born in April. My mother passed away in October, the same year.
So was your I don't mean to cut you off, but was your father murdered by another Black man?
I don't even know, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no. That's a good question. I know he was murdered by one of his friends. I don't know if the guy would happen to be Black. I know my dad was Black, and I know my mother was white.
Okay.
But my adopted family was Black Creole. So I don't know any white people. So I don't know what it's like to grow up around white people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because some people see me and they be like, well, you mixed. And I'm like, yeah, I'm mixed. And they be like, well, how was it growing up being white? I said, you got to ask somebody who grew up mixed.
Yeah.
I grew up in foster care and the people who adopted me were Black. So all I know is Black people. I don't know what it's like to be around white people. I don't know what white people think like.
Yeah.
But then, I was born in Los Angeles.
Okay.
You feel me? So, what I'm saying, that happened with my parents. So my adopted people, we moved up out of there. So we moved to Albuquerque. I moved around America before I ended up getting into Dallas when I was about, I think I went to Winnetka Elementary in Oak Cliff.
Okay.
So that, I was in the 6th grade and I've been there pretty much ever since. But, I was, getting into trouble as a teenager. I've been shot. You know what I'm saying? I've been beat up by the Dallas Police Department.
Yeah.
Documented. I was in special ed. I went to prison in high school. I've got 17 calendar years done in prison. I graduated college 3 times with honors. I got a degree in horticulture. I got a degree in computer science, and I got a degree in business from Baylor University.
Okay, hold on. I don't want to run over that because I heard something that was. So you saying in school you was in special ed?
Absolutely, from the 7th grade.
And you went from special ed to now being an author.
I didn't learn how to read till I was 22. So I didn't start college till I was 38. I didn't graduate till I was. I didn't start college till I was 33. I didn't graduate till I was 38. I'm 44.
And that's a hell of a turnaround. That's I don't want to speed by that. That's because there's some folks out of here who are, their child may be in special ed and they feel like they slow is what we call them, or retarded is what we call them. Not able to learn is what they thinking. What are they gonna do? And there's some people out here, some grown-ups who don't know much. You know what I mean? And it's hard to recognize. And they feel like, I don't know much. I'm just gonna go get. And so now you went from special ed to being to having 3 degrees.
3 degrees.
And to now being an author with your own publishing company.
Yes,
that's a win. That's a win, Black man. I want to applaud that, and I'm proud. I'm proud I called you, man. I'm glad that I called you and that you were and made yourself available. And because I'm gonna tell you where I found you. I found you going live, on the book a couple years ago. And you was always giving history lessons. And that's how I started following you. And you looked familiar. I was like, oh, I seen him somewhere before. And it just may have been the knowledge, that you was giving that I was able to relate to. But yeah, I'm proud, and that's a hell of an accomplishment, man. Yeah, that's a big deal, brother. Square business, man.
So and then now that I've been out of prison, and I wasn't even trying to write the book. It's just the passion I have to help young people, lead their families and really stay out of prison. But I don't want to constantly say I'm here to stop mass incarceration, because really, you know what I'm saying, that's just like a negative thing of what I do, because the consequences of me doing that is building strong Black people to lead their families.
Amen.
So I'd rather just say, I'm here to help a young man build a man of character and be responsible. You feel me? In a nutshell, I ain't trying to, be, I ain't doing too much, but my main objective is to teach them to be responsible and teach them character, because don't nobody want to do business with somebody with bad character. That's why we talk about business, and I'm always with character because I'm like, you know, of course, I'm a super entrepreneur. One of my degrees is in business. I teach business. I can walk you through anything. You feel me? From LLCs to sole proprietor or sole proprietor, which is a small business. You got large business, small business. But anyway, whatever you want to do, we can do it. It's nothing hard about it. But my thing is, are you worthy of me teaching you this? Before I teach you business, I want to know, can you maintain your character? It's got to be taught. Like you said, are we destined this? I thought I was. They told me I was. And I got all the excuses.
Yeah, facts.
I got all the excuses. So, you know, but when I hear kids now, I can just reassure them that they built for this and that it is okay.
Yeah, that you've been through this shit.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I tell kids, man, it might not be your fault. Yeah, you're in the predicament that you're in, but it's your responsibility of how you deal with it.
Amen. That's a word.
So you can do you know, you can go through life or the situation you in right now, or the struggle or the adversity that you're in right now. And I'm not going to talk about your adversity. I'm not going to belittle your adversity. You feel me? But I tell you that I walk in it with you because I don't think it's nothing that's going to kill you, because a lot of kids think they think they life rough until they hear somebody else's story, or somebody like my story. They hear my story and then they're like, man, I ain't, you know, how did you do it? And I said, I stopped doing what you were doing. I stopped feeling sorry for myself. I sat in special ed for, you know, until I sat in special ed from 7th grade all the way to 12th grade, just because I didn't want to imply myself. It wasn't that I had any learning disabilities. I just truly wasn't implying. I didn't want to.
Didn't want to apply. Now, what changed that around? How did you go from prison? Yeah.
Because the point is that one thing that I try to tell kids is that, man, the worst thing in life is to be taken advantage of, to be manipulated.
Yeah. Square business.
You talk about somebody punching you and taking you, robbing you. That's all part of manipulation.
Yeah.
Somebody got you, somebody violated you. Right? So as I was in prison, going into prison, trying to understand, well, how did I get in the predicament that I'm in now, and realizing how serious it was, because, you know, it didn't dawn on me how serious my situation was, because I went to jail for attempted murder and aggravated robbery when I was 18 years old. I really, really wasn't a big deal. I really wasn't thinking it was a big deal.
Yeah, you was on a big deal. You was on a spree of, that's how you was living anyway. You expected that.
I live like that, so I definitely was cool with with committing any crime like that, robbery, murder, anything. Shit. It's how everybody was doing it. So it was normal for me, but it was normal because of how I allowed myself to embrace stupidity.
And that's a goddamn epidemic on how we embrace bullshit.
Yeah. So it's easy when you're uneducated. It's easy when you're ignorant to embrace bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to embrace nonsense when you're not educated. And because I wasn't educated, I was embracing the stuff because that makes sense. Something very easy can make sense, but something complicated might be a little bit more difficult to understand. And by me not reading or not even having the desire to read, because I was successful in the streets.
Right.
I was successful with women. I was successful selling drugs. I was successful gang banging. So I wasn't, I wasn't running from nothing. I didn't have no problem. So what I need to read for? You know what I'm saying? I got plenty of money. I got cars as a teenager.
Yeah.
As a teenager. But when I ended up in prison, none of that mattered. And then I'm sitting here trying to read the Bible or read my law or read my indictment or read, you know what I'm saying? And I can't read my indictment. I don't know what some of these words are saying or even how to pronounce them. So, I accidentally learned about politics. I accidentally learned about laws, trying to see what kind of position I was in and what I could do to get out. And then I started understanding that these laws did not care about me, from the police to the jail laws to the correctional facilities. I was a bucker.
Yeah,
I fight laws. Because people need to hear this, because there's too many people talking about, man, I want to buck the laws. And I'm like, have you ever bucked the laws? No, you ain't never bucked the laws. You ain't never got beat up by the police, not one time. Bro, I've been beat up by the police about at least 10 different times as a teenager and an adult.
Yeah.
You talking about a correctional officer and a jail officer. If you from Dallas County Jail, then you know about the black suits and the blue suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went with the black suits twice. They don't play.
Yeah.
And you got to be a serious person to go, to have the black suits
come
out
to
the
yeah.
So they and in prison, bro, you know what I'm saying? Man, bro, when you in the black market or in the game like that, them laws, you know what I'm saying, will do you dirty. I learned in prison to stop telling these police people or these law enforcement people what they won't do. I seen these people do anything and everything. It's up to us to stop them. Let me say this again. 17 years of incarceration, I learned these people would do anything, and it's up to us to stop them. So how do you stop them? Education. Until I learned constitutional law in prison, them laws did not give a damn about what I was talking about. It didn't matter how many push-ups I did, how big I got, how many people I had riding with me. Man, them laws would mop our ass up and throw us in the, it was fun because it was fair game.
So how you did 17 years?
Yes, sir.
How long was your sentence?
One sentence was 15. I did 11 years on one sentence and got out, stayed out a year. And I went back and did 6 more years. I got caught with a half a brick and a 40 cal. So I got an unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, and I got caught with half a brick.
Within a year?
Within a year.
So you part of that recidivism, the person that's going, that person that's going to go to.
So I got out and went right back.
So what changed the last time that made you say, you know what?
I found my purpose. The second time I went back, I prayed.
Preach.
I never really prayed or none of that. I never really, the first time 11 years in prison, I just calmed down. I deserved the prison when I went to prison the first time. I was really on some, I was tripping. So I deserved it.
But you say you were tripping, huh?
Nah, for real.
Because if you do something like that, you need to be held accountable. You don't need to be out here on the streets, saying hurting people, bro. And I'd have heard I was a nightmare for a lot of people. So, I got held accountable. Shout out to the cop who arrested me, man. You know what I'm saying? But the second time I went to prison, I was kind of going out of control because my adopted dad had died trying to come see me from California. He had a massive heart attack in Santa Fe, and I was trying to do all the right things with parole and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because parole won't let you travel out of state. You know what I'm saying? So I just got out of parole. My dad wanted me to come see me, and I was just kind of getting back on my feet. And he was like, "Well, I'm gonna come see you," but my dad was on dialysis. So he had problems with his kidneys, and he didn't think he was gonna live that much longer. And he told me. And I told him, "No, man, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be okay." You know what I'm saying?
And on the ride,
on the way, died in New Mexico, coming to Texas. So and then parole went to telling me that I can't go to the funeral and stuff like that. That just made me buck. And then I just, I got strained up, and then, I told my partner, I need some help, and then I got some dope, and that was a wrap. And I, was successful. And then, you know what I'm saying, I got jammed up with the dope case and got 8 years.
And did 6 on that.
Did 6 on 8. So, but anyway, when I went back, I just say, man, Lord, just give me something I can do, because the firearm case was the only case I was worried about. The drug cases were really weak. They were weak, but I got caught with my gun on me. You know what I'm saying? Because why you got a gun on you? If you got this type of dope, you're gonna have a gun. But anyway, that gun was the biggest, you know what I'm saying, my biggest concern. So I told them, if they give me something I can do, I'll take it. So they came with 8 years. I signed it. I jumped on that ASAP. I knew they was probably finna hide me.
So doing that last 6-year sentence is when you started educating yourself.
That's when somebody told. So one of my partners said, "Boy, you'd be a bad dude if you got some education." And when he said that, I was like, "Man, I ain't, and I can't know what you mean. School, college, secondary education, bro. Please, man, I'd be happy to get a trade. You feel me?" But when he told me that, I started thinking about school, and then I just said, "Well, let me do it." I said, "Well, they're gonna have to tell me no." Just they say, and then and I went in there, and I think I got into it with one of the school ladies, and then they told me I couldn't do it, and I think I just went to school just to irritate her, and I ended up taking horticulture because George Washington Carver, and it was also the easiest thing to do. You feel me? But it was plants. So I took that and graduated with honors, and I was like, you know what I'm saying? That was pretty cool. I said, "Man, well, what's the hardest?" They were like computer science. I was like, well, "Give me that." I graduated that. Not with high honors, with honors.
Yeah.
High honors is 4.0. I graduated with like a 3.78 something.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So I didn't get no high honors, but
still with honors.
For a special ed.
Yeah. Square
a whole
business.
bunch of A's and B's.
Square business.
But I learned how to use my mind and I learned how to read. And reading is so important.
Absolutely important.
And I did not, you got to realize, I didn't start reading until I was 22. So, and then from 22 to about 26, my reading got excellent. And then I read a book about your brain. You know what I'm saying? It said how to use both sides of your brain. And this book was about memorization, speed reading, mind mapping, and stuff like that. And when I read that book allowed me to understand how powerful my mind was and how I had to be careful about what I was allowing to read myself, because I started seeing all the people where I was at. Now I was reading hood novels and stuff, but I started off reading like Iceberg Slim, Donald Gowan books and stuff like that, mafia books. But it's cool because and I won't knock nobody for reading those books, but I will tell them, if you can read really good, why are you reading something that's not going to teach you how to make $1 million or how to become a better person? You're reading something for entertainment.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people who read in prison, but most of these people grew up reading. I never read, and they couldn't believe that my first book I ever read was in prison. Horse Son, Donald Gowan's book. And they were like, you ain't never read a book? I said, man, I ain't never even attempted to read a book. It was so hard for me to read the Bible. You feel me? Just reading the Bible, just comprehending. Even when you're reading, are you comprehending what you're reading?
Square business.
So I had to relearn everything. I had to teach myself, educate myself. And I started with just the GED, and one trade. And then I went into college. I took one class, and then, before I knew it, it's over with. I graduated in 2014. But
that's what's up.
And now, like I say, when I was praying, I was praying, like, what do you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? If you give me what I want, what you want. You know what I'm saying?
You found that purpose.
Yeah. And I accidentally went back in prison in 2008 when Barack Obama was winning. I went in 1996 before Tupac got killed. Right. And then I went right back in 2008. So I went back to prison almost at the same exact time, because I went back in prison in like 1998, and I'm back in prison in 2008. So witnessing Barack Obama become the president in prison, right? Seeing this, then seeing all the people, seeing how we were coming in prison in 1996. It wasn't a bunch of kids coming into prison, and if we did have kids coming into prison, they were some solid. We were solid. Even as if I came to prison at 19, I was solid. You know what I'm saying? I came into prison, handling my business. Now 2008,
children, like
we got a
undeveloped children are coming in.
They coming in 17, 18, twice as much as we were, but now
with the mindset of a 10-year-old.
They ain't me. They're not no crime. These ain't criminals, bro. These some little kids. These kids make a mistake and they're sending them to prison. And I'm looking at them like, I'm talking to them. I'm like, bro, you only in here because you really did. Like, I'm not here because I had no guys. But bro, you really ain't supposed to be in here. You in here because there's really nobody to watch you. There's nobody to teach you nothing. You don't know nothing, bro. You 22, 21, you don't know nothing. Not only do you not know nothing, you ain't trying to learn nothing. Bro, you ain't got no respect. You don't have no self-worth. You don't know your value. You don't even care.
Facts.
So I'm saying, how did you get like this? You got like this here because your mother never paid, or your parents, because I can't blame your mother.
Right. Your daddy failed too.
Whoever was involved with it could be the foster care. Nobody really paid you enough attention, and therefore you was just doing your own
acting
thing.
Out.
Well, you have no choice but to do what you know. You don't know anything. So
whatever you seen, that's what you know. Whatever you seen.
They going by the TV. They going by Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Like when I got locked up in 96, I started noticing how many people Tupac was getting locked up. And what I mean by that, these people were coming in and I could hear, listen to their vocabulary. Only God could judge me. You got murdered. What you mean only God can judge? Why would you say that? Who, you know what I'm saying? Do you understand what you were doing? And I don't care. This mentality, thug life. I'm trying to be cool. Oh, this is not a game.
Nah, square business.
Bro, you got kids. Talking about only God can judge me. You feel me? I mean, like when people embrace these ideas, they throw their life away and not really understanding, like, bro, this is not, these people aren't your
leader. This is entertainment. It's facts. Speak.
Yeah,
speak.
These people don't mean you no good. This man.
They're trying to get some money off getting folks to jump. You know what I mean?
They don't love you. He don't love you. You know what I'm saying? And when I was in prison, man, it was because people always used that. People always know me for being a real person, like you a real dude. You know, like this dude's a real street guy.
Yeah.
So they were like, hey man, they have a real question. They were talking about Tupac. Is Tupac a real person? They asked me one time, Tupac a real person? I said, well, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bro, you act like I know a person.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you, like, what make you you think he real and you think he fake? I'm saying, if you say he real, what make him real? And he said Tupac shot somebody. And I'm like, that don't mean you real because you shoot somebody. I shot a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm not real because I shot somebody. Is that what you think I'm real because I shot somebody? No, that's not what make you real. He shot them cops. That don't mean you real. Then they say Tupac got shot. I said getting shot don't make you real.
That's the word. And that's what that entertainment has interfered with our thought process.
Then people a lot of people look at Tupac like he's a real thug street guy. Like they look at Jeezy or somebody, like somebody that really, or Snoop Dogg or something like that, right? And what I'm saying is, like, Tupac was in Juice. Tupac was in Juice before he made Outlaw. Tupac made a major movie as a teenager.
Like when your mama, and now that you say that, you remember when your mama used to take you in the store and like, don't get in here and don't know how to act. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta know how to act the part. You know what I mean? It's like
you're a professional actor.
Yeah, you got it. And you know,
so you don't think you can act a rapper? You don't think you can pretend to be a thug?
Yeah. Whatever, if that's what selling records is, yeah. You know what I mean? If that's what's gonna sell records and get you to the top of the charts, you don't think you can put that facade on and be that on camera? All right, we rolling.
What would have solidified Tupac to be a real person would have been if he established, or he would have been trying to establish some type of youth mentorship. Then he would have had some validation on what he was talking about. Then we like, that's real shit.
Yeah, but he was though. I think that was the difference in between Tupac. But you
said he was. You the first. I've been in youth mentorship for a long time. I first heard. I really heard her say that. But the reality is, he didn't do it enough. Yeah. Even if he did do something, he was nowhere. Even if he was nowhere close as much as he was talking about. As much as you was talking destruction.
But see, you got to understand though. See, and I'm saying this.
How old are you?
I'm 39. I'll be 40.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm saying this from the simple fact that Tupac was my favorite rapper. So I have a soft spot. I am biased when it comes to Tupac. You know what I mean? But when you said something from your experience of he was getting a lot of people locked up.
Yeah,
man,
I heard that.
I saw that. Yeah, see, people don't see that. It's a lot of fans who don't see the Tupac crosses on these niggas' backs. Coming into these. I'm telling you, bro. You go to prison right now, you will see a lot of Tupac imitators, bro. And a lot of thug lives, man.
And I can see that from his perspective. You know what I mean? You in prison, you down there, and you come and see the impact that this man is having on these people, because
not trying to see it, but I'm seeing the impact.
Yeah. You're seeing it. You just making an observation. But when it comes to the youth, when it comes to me being a few years younger than you, right, and coming up listening to Tupac, I can say that because Tupac damn near raised me. He was the only rapper that I listened to, and what he did for me, he made it cool for me to journal. He made it cool for me to write. He made it cool for me to ask questions and express myself in class. He encouraged that. You know what I mean? He had the other shit, but we got to keep in mind he was 25 when he got killed. The level of consciousness that he was teaching, you know what I mean? People don't reach that awareness today, 30, 40. You know what I mean?
And you know what, JoJo? Now that you say that was already in you. You know what I mean? And he brought it out of you, and you know what I mean, and helped you develop it. And that's the part that you caught on to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That you probably learned from somewhere else, or you know what I mean, it got into you through your mom or through another facilitation, but he brought it out a little bit more. Okay, it is Tupac doing it. It is cool to do that.
Yeah,
it is. But somebody else grasped the you know what I mean? How he came in, you know what I mean? Somebody else grasped to shoot him up.
Let me ask you a question.
You know what I mean?
You just said Tupac was one of your favorite people, right?
Yeah.
So, so let me ask you this question. What's your favorite Tupac verse? Do you know it by chance?
I mean, it's
just one. It's so many.
It's so many.
So just give me one of them. Just give me your favorite go-to. It can be anyone. It can be just give me your. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want to give me one positive.
He said, make it stop, study your lesson. Don't settle for less. Even the genius asks questions. Be grateful for blessings. Don't ever change. Keep your essence to power until the people in politics we address. Always do your best. Don't let the pressure make you panic. And when you get stranded, things don't go the way you planned. The dreaming of riches in the position of making the difference. Politicians and hypocrites, they don't want to listen.
Okay.
So he say the ones with possessions steal from the ones that possess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So me as a young kid, he's saying it's okay to even the genius ask questions. You know what I mean? The world is trying to smother this part of you, this curiosity, this smartness. But so what he said, me against the world, that was that young passion, that was that young fire, that was that young rage, that was that young anger. But then you got somebody like him, and he was let me finish this. He got killed at 25, right? But then you got somebody like Kendrick Lamar, who was raised off of him, who watched him, who made it past 25. And he say, I always thought it was me against the world, but now I realize it's me versus me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tupac didn't get to that.
It's actually me versus me.
It's actually me versus all this rage and all this hate and all this anger that I have because I've been catapulted and I don't have no guidance. So I think that's why what you doing, surviving where you come from, going through that experience that was built to break you, and then you come back and you can walk these kids through it, talk these kids through it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I can teach them the benefits of being in the situation that they in. Where if you ain't never been there, you don't know. You cannot tell them the positive about being in that predicament. You can't tell a person about being in the struggle, about being in special ed, what's positive about it. You can't tell somebody that's struggling what's positive about being broke and being in the hood. You can't. You ain't never been in the hood. You don't know how to make somebody who ain't never had nothing be good. Or be accepted or be influential in that hood. If you ain't never been there, how you gonna tell him? How you have the audacity to talk about it? You understand me? If you haven't been in special ed, if you haven't been in gang banging, if you haven't struggled in these struggles, then why would you try to jump in front of the person who has been
square business?
So who's qualified to talk about it, to go over there and give your advice about what you think.
But Tina Wills didn't say he a fan. Yes, I am.
Fan. That's my ain't bet. He is a fan, ain't bet. Now,
hold on. Now watch this, because I wanted to share my favorite Tupac verse with you.
Okay.
You feel me? Because I wasn't a big Tupac fan, but I was a Tupac fan. I like what he was saying, but I was also constantly aware. I was like, man, I wouldn't want my younger brother to listen to this. Tupac said, "They'll never take me alive. I'm getting high with my 4-5 cocked on you suckers. Time to die. Even as a youngster, raising ruckus on the back of the bus. I was a fool, walked through high school, kicking up dust, and now I'm labeled as a troublemaker.
Who can you blame? Smoking weed to help me take away the pain.
Okay.
I'm hopeless, rolling down the freeway, swerving. Don't worry, I'm about to crash up on the curb because my vision's blurry. Maybe if they tried to understand me, what can I do? I had to feed my fucking family. What else could I do? But be a thug. I hanging with the homies, fuck slanging with the phonies in the club. Got my mind on danger. Never been a stranger to homicide. My city's full of gang bangers and drive-bys. Why do we die at an early age? He was so young, but still a victim of a 12 gauge. My memories of a corpse, mind full of sick thoughts, but I ain't going back to court. So fuck what you thought. I'm drinking Hennessy, running from my enemy. Will I let us see 23? So much pain.
Okay.
Now he wrote that.
Yeah.
He ain't live none of that. He ain't do none of that, bro. He wrote that though. He wrote that. That influenced a lot of people. A lot of people had that mentality. I never take man, bro.
But did he influence it? Hold on. Did he influence you?
He was pretending to be that type of person. So you got to hold yourself accountable, bro. That's what I'm saying. We got to cross the bridge.
No. Listen, because it ain't no right or wrong, and this is a great conversation.
We have to
have.
acknowledge
But listen.
Now y'all have y'all Tupac argument. Don't take over this damn show, because this ain't no Pac show.
No, because it's not.
I'm just fucking with y'all.
Because the bigger conversation is not about Pac, right?
Right.
Because it's about what he just said, reaching the youth. I don't. You a mentor. I work with the youth, but I don't call it mentoring. You know what I mean? Because I have holes in my manhood. I'm still learning how to be a man. So I call it legacy building, because as much as I build on the kids, in return they build on me. So we got the same passion, same perspective. I mean, the same, mission, right?
Right.
And it's not about Tupac. In essence, what it is about, he didn't have to live that, right?
Right.
But just how you identify, you say special ed, and you would come and identify with that person, how they feel, what they experience. Yeah, Pac probably wasn't gang banging and out there shooting guns and shit.
Right.
But if I have a heart for my people, and if I'm able to look and identify and feel you
and paint their picture
and paint your picture and touch you and reach you like that, now I got you, because I'm speaking to your experience. I'm speaking to what you can't even articulate. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when you see 30 years later, he's still impacting across the world. So it's not that I'm feeding. That's where I'm meeting you at. You see what I'm saying?
That's why I'm reeling you in with your story. I paint.
Okay. I'm identifying with this struggle. I'm helping you. I'm helping you put words. I'm helping you put words and understanding to what you feeling. You see what I'm saying? And also in doing that, we speaking power to the system. He say, I gotta feed my family. Do you know how many no's? I was a kid. I went to SCBU, Sophisticated Crack Baby University. My mama smoked crack with me the whole time. She was pregnant, but she had a family. I mean, we had a family, right? But so at 17, I caught an aggravated assault charge. I was on my way to penitentiary for a school fight. We tried to kill a nigga. You know what I mean? Just being funky. So, but I was a good kid. Do you know how many things I had to say no to? You know what I'm saying? You walk out your door. No, I'm not selling dope. No, I'm not getting this stolen car. No, I'm not doing this. No, I'm not doing this. No, I'm not doing it. One time you gonna say fucking yeah. So that's kind of what Pac was saying. Like, shit, I had to feed my fucking family. What else could I do but be a thug? You know what I'm saying?
And
so
my question to you is,
somebody say, can they call in
on Talk Black? Yeah, can we let them let me ask a few questions to my guy before we call in about this Black Talk. Now that we passed Tupac. God damn, Pac. That boy had an impact, didn't he?
But Pac is a bit, it's kind of like what I talk about in systemic racism. But go ahead.
Now, my question to you, how did we get to where our main influence is an entertainer? How did we get from, like, the man who you kind of took a liking to was George Washington Carver, who had all type of inventions, did so much for the Black people as a whole, to a man who painted pictures with words for entertainment, to one of our biggest influence. You know what I mean? Me and JoJo, we aren't impacted by an inventor that invented. You know what I mean? All our inventions or as history is taught to us, but how did we get to the part where our main impact? Because me and JoJo got some sense. Like we say, we are trying to impact the youth in the most positive way we can. Try to get them to legacy build and to mentoring them to stay on the right path, and to mentoring them into saying no to this. How do we get and we both can vouch that these entertainers have impacted us, and we now use it, you know what I mean, to use it, and we still got holes in us as men, as JoJo said. But how did these entertainers become the main focus that we look toward for inspiration, rather than the inventors? You know what I mean? Rather than the legacy builders, because it was a point where Black people, we had our own everything. You know what I mean? We had and entertaining wasn't this big of a deal. Your father was probably the most inspiration that you had. You know what I mean? Your mama, your grandpa, you know what I mean? Your uncles was probably the biggest inspiration. How did we get to where now our biggest inspiration is an artist.
It's not artists, it's money.
It's young boy.
It's money.
It's money.
It's money. It's not even young boy.
Yeah.
It's money.
It's the so you don't think
it's money.
It's the money that young boy is showing that he has.
The potential of being a young boy fan or being in the video.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's money.
It's money.
Power.
It's money and power is what we're looking for.
Yeah, because you violating all the principles. You know what I'm saying? You threw the principles out the window. You just care about some money. I need the money. You individualize yourself. You separate yourself
from the people,
from everybody. Because if you like them, you don't give a damn about what your mom said. You don't care about what grandma said. You just I want to do what I want to do. My parents have taught me I needed to have. That's how you raising your kids, man, to feel like they special. And my thing is, I try to tell everybody, man, life is not fair, man. You need people in your life to hold you accountable. Stop thinking you so special. And our parents are teaching kids that they are the specialist kids in the world, and they deserve everything. And don't touch and don't talk to my kid. Don't touch my kid. My kid is perfect, and they're gonna YouTube everything. And your kid in last place because you are in their life. You got one job as a parent. That's to teach your kid to be responsible. The older your kid get, the more time they are required to educate. So your children 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the older they get, they need more time to educate. We ain't educating our kids. Media's social media outlets and YouTube and the environment raises kids, not parents. So parents aren't even, they want to act like they are teaching, but you can't. You got to be. They're oblivious that you cannot. A child is learning every time it opens its eyes. Not when mom is talking. A child is learning every time it opens its eyes and hears words. It's learning. So it's from the TV to the books to mommy to the homeboys to the homegirls to Walmart to movie theaters to it ain't having no effect. Everything that child hears and sees, it affects them deeply, massively. And parents, it's not a big deal. It's a great deal. But I can't tell no parent how to be no parent. And the only reason why I know this because, like I say, when I found out my passion or my purpose was to help young kids, I went and studied child psychology. I went and studied child development. I went and studied the psychological of the human being. And I started looking and started understanding, man, human beings are very simple. Human beings are very simple. Human beings have been on the planet 7 million years. Yeah. The planet's been here 4.2. Yeah. Black people have been on the planet for 7+ million years. Yeah. White people have only been on the planet for 4,200 years. 4,000 something years. I don't know how, and that's according to DNA. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So you got to realize the original human being on the planet for millions of years was only black people. Right? Right. So imagine living like that. What racism is then? Everybody's black. Yeah. Right? So white people really just got on the planet. As, along with other races, and that is according to DNA.
So how did we end up in this position here in America and globally?
Well, we see, this is what I do not like. We ended up in America because of Spain. Everybody talks about Africa. Our history does not start in Africa. Our existence here in America started in Spain when Black Moors from Morocco invaded Spain.
Okay, teach.
In 711, right? They enslaved white people. They enslaved Spain, and then they moved down to Portugal. They enslaved these white people for 700 years, not 400 years like they talk about us. They really enslaved these white people.
Was it like whips and chains? And
it was finessed. In order to be a slave for a black person, a Moorish person. Now you got to realize this 711, black people built Spain to be the epicenter of the world. Spain was the best city, best country in the world.
That's why it looked like that.
That's why if you look at Spain, look at the old Islamic architect that was built by black Moors. Now, when you were a slave, this is where you ever heard the story of black people teaching white people how to bathe? Yeah. This is where
it brought civilization.
This is where it is. Spain, Africa, black Moors did not force white people to be slaves. They finessed them. They came with intellect, money, and opportunity, economic opportunity to grow. And so these white people willfully submitted to these black people, and they love to be in the position. The white people in Spain and Portugal did not have a problem with it. You know who had a problem with it? Italy. The Roman Catholic Church. Italy is right by Rome. Rome, the Roman Catholic Church. The Christian Crusade is who ended up moving the black Moors out of Spain and Portugal. But guess what? They had help from the Muslims, from the Ottoman Empire. The Muslims from the Ottoman Empire joined the Roman Catholic Church as an army Moors to get the Moors who were also Muslim. All my black Muslims out there.
Yeah.
So now you got the Ottoman Empire, true Muslims from Muhammad.
Yeah.
They know what time it is.
Yeah.
Islam, Allah.
Yeah.
They got down with the Roman Catholic Church. Why would they get down with the Roman Catholic Church to fight against Islamic people? Because they were black. Yeah. So I don't know all this black Islamic, black and all this. Man, hey man, if you knew better, you do better.
Amen.
The more you know, the less you can't be manipulated by anything. Right. Spain got invaded by the Christian Crusaders. By Alfonso the Great was the last Christian Crusader who chased out the black Islamic Moors from Spain and Portugal. Now this happened in 1492. People always talk about America. Right. And you know, if you've been in America, we already know we love some Christopher Columbus, don't we?
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus, he discovered America. That's what we wanted.
That's what they teach us in school.
That's what they teach us in school. Where is Christopher Columbus from? Spain. Spain discovered America, not North America, the continent.
Yeah.
South and North was discovered by Spain 60 years after being enslaved. Did you discover it?
Yeah.
Or did you expose what you had been knowing
the
whole time? Spain discovered this new world. Spain took over. Spain developed us.
Yeah.
Then Britain and France and all them came over here.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, our American people, we got to leave that out, because if we talk about Spain, then we got to talk about how brilliant the black people were. See, because we talk about systemic racism. How do you think the systemic racism was in Spain? How you think white people were advancing in Spain? Why you think people from Spain, Spaniards from Spain, why you think their skin is brown? How you think a Mexican from Mexico's skin is brown? Why do you think most of the people in South America's skins are brown? Why do you think people in Puerto Rico, why do you think they have light skin?
Like black people originally.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You ain't know?
Yeah.
I talk to Hispanic people. They don't really believe that they come from black people.
Yeah.
Pigmentation is black, dark skin.
Because I'm under the impression everybody come from black people.
Everybody's black.
Yeah.
That's one of the discussions I had with one of those black Israelites in downtown Dallas. They would telling white people, you need to submit. I said, that's a black person you're talking to. They just have white skin, but you're so smart. But you really ain't. So smart, but woo, man, you're missing two squares. But hey, man, you if you knew better, you do better. The more you know, the less you can be manipulated by anybody. You cannot be a human being without being black.
So you're telling me that the black people who are here in America and I'm gonna say it, in a position that they're in, looking, and I'm saying that we need to improve our economic stance and our economic relationship.
I'm saying right here, this is the first strike was when black Moors enslaved white people, and this we talking about world economics, right? Because we talking about who controls the world economics. White people? No, Muslims. The first traders, the first people who to move product around this place wasn't Europeans. It was Muslims. They set up the slave trade. They created, the Muslims came with slavery.
So, and let me finish this question. So these people, me and you, JoJo, my family, your family, originally brought education and economics to Spain and taught what we lacking in now. was the original people to bring civilization.
No, I'm saying that how we got over here was because those Moors went to Spain and set it off with Spain for 700 years. When the white European nations joined together to get rid of the black
Moors.
people, the slavery in Spain,
push the Moors out.
Yeah, as soon as they ended that in 1492, Spain was the first. Spain and Portugal were the first two countries to enter the slave trade to America. Spain and Portugal. How is Spain and the Dutch? How are you two? Y'all had just been enslaved for 700 years. We were just been enslaved for 230. Yeah. Some say 400. And look how much property we got. Look what we able to accomplish. Yeah. Hello, come on, man. You see what I'm saying? Spain was enslaved for 700 years. And as soon as they got liberated, they took off and they learned. They know so much about seas. The Dutch built the best boats. They were shipping slaves. They participated in the slave trade.
Right.
You don't think they had a little animosity? You don't think they was mad for being slave for 7? You see how mad black people are right now for talking about slavery? You imagine how the Spaniards and the Portuguese felt after being enslaved for 700 years. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they was kind of
like, you feel me? This is how the perpetuate, because now we're talking about, because the slaves that come into America, they came from the slave coast in Africa. But what I'm saying, the consequences, like the big, man, we're gonna really use this. Look at what the Moors did in Spain with slavery. Let's see what the new experience is going to bring. And since Spain was the first people to come over here, and instead of Spain enslaving themselves, they went and got black slaves out of Africa. That's why they were comfortable getting black slaves out. That's what made Europeans comfortable getting black people to serve them. That's why we over here right now in the predicament we in. That's why. It ain't because white people just woke up one day and said, I think I'm gonna go get some black people. Nah, that's not what happened. That's not what happened.
Okay. So now skip it. Now we're gonna skip a little part because now we over here.
Okay. Now we over here.
Now we over here.
Now we dealing with systemic racism that you asked me about.
They did what they did.
Right.
Because we did what we did.
Right.
And now we over here.
Right.
So, and it was a point where people had it together. You know what I mean? It was they call it Black Wall Street.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We had
so listen. So again, soon as Spain came out of their slavery, they discovered the known world, right? As soon as they abolished the slave trade, right? So we're talking about, you know what I'm saying, really 1780, right? Right? Is that right?
I don't know the numbers, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know the numbers. You talking about in Tulsa?
No, I'm just talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma happened in 1921.
Okay, that's right. Where I want to start from there.
You want to start from there? In order for us to talk about, well, I want to start with after the Civil War.
Okay,
right, because after the Civil War is when you had black evolution, right? Because when black people got free after slavery, black people were able to progress at a much more higher rate than white people were, because black people knew how to do everything. They can build everything. They did all the manual work. You feel me? They did all the field work.
Okay.
So they were ready to work for their money. They just never got paid for the work. So they were already adjusted to work. You feel me? So when they were doing what they were doing, they was able to accumulate a lot of money.
Right. So they knew what to do.
They knew how to work. They knew what to do.
Okay.
White people were on the other hand were in last place, because not only
they just knew how to oversee.
Not only did they not know how to do anything, but they were also in the condition, like in physical condition to do anything. They haven't been, you got to be, trained. You got to practice to play basketball. You got to be in order to do.
You got to be in the field, and know what you're doing.
You got to be strong. You got to be tough. So black people were already mentally, physically tough to be able to do all of that.
Fact.
So after slavery, of course, we accumulated a lot of money quick, and then
because we knew what to do.
And then, like you say, you hollered at my boy Claude Anderson, man. Shout out to Claude Anderson.
Yeah,
I love you, bro.
Yeah,
Claude Anderson would teach you the truth. You feel me? So he'll tell you about the black wealth that we had after we owned
facts.
because of segregation. That what you had no choice. People always ask me, somebody asked me, why we don't have no black-owned grocery stores? I told them Martin Luther King.
Speak on that.
We don't. Martin Luther King killed black economic power. That's why we celebrate him so much.
With integration,
with the sit-ins. Sit-ins
made us go away from our own businesses.
Before 1960, we had black everything. Before Martin Luther King did his thing, we had black everything. Black shoe stores, black grocery store, black clothing, black everything, black barbershop, everything, black everything. Because everybody, you had to
spend with your own.
You had to spend with your. Yeah. But when he came out, he encouraged black people to spend money with white folks.
I ain't never heard him say that. Now
what you mean, sit-in? What you mean? You ain't never heard him?
He encouraged it. Give me.
He said.
I just want to break it down because folks gonna be like Martin Luther King. So I just want
white people and sit into their restaurants and see if they'll serve you.
And make them serve you.
Make them serve.
you.
Go to them stores and buy.
Even though they don't want you in there, go make them take your money. Go make them take your dollar.
Yeah, and eventually they didn't do it, and eventually they accepted it. They said, "Okay, I'll take it."
And if we do it,
and listen, as soon as that happened, and you can ask anybody that's older, ask an older black person about Martin Luther King, and don't worry about what a history book says. Ask an old black person. Hey man, what was
that was alive in the 60s?
What was it like before Martin Luther King? Did we have black? And they'll tell you. Yeah, we had everything black.
And if we lying, ladies and gentlemen,
please hold me accountable.
The phone line is open. Can we get the phone line on the screen, JoJo? If we lying, if my brother Mayhem lying,
you think I work with you or something?
if we making up something, you was alive in the 60s and this ain't the truth. And you know what I mean? If we saying something that you don't believe, or if you have a question. If you have a question that you want him to elaborate on, the phone lines are open. And because we want some understanding to come on. You know what I mean? We're not just up here just to down talk nobody. We're not just up here just to make you change your feelings.
We cannot move forward if we don't address what is our shortcomings? Where do we fall? What was wrong with Martin?
We gotta face it.
What did Martin Luther King do right, and what did he do wrong?
We gotta face it.
Right? Everybody, all of our great people who came before us failed us. I don't care how they feel,
especially if they in the history books. And I truly believe that
in the history books, you disappointed the Black Panther parties. The civil rights movement,
and that's why the conqueror is not afraid to talk about you.
The black
because
Muslims,
I believe it.
The Islam, Islam. You feel me? All of them have all of them got flaws, but you know what I'm saying, they all got great things that they did. They all built black worthiness and value. They all taught us how to be respectable men of character. You feel me? Despite the negative that he did. See, because people say, well how do you still, you talk about Martin Luther King, you say he did this, and like we supposed to, I didn't say don't like him. I'm saying this is what happened. I love him. And I know what he was trying to do.
And even Martin Luther King said his fear was that he integrated his people into a burning house.
Say that.
So we got a call.
Say that.
We got a call. Let me see. Hold on real fast. I think this is Omar.
Okay.
We know these numbers. Let me connect it to the.
You on Bluetooth?
One second. Hold on. We gonna get you.
What's a thing?
Speak your feelings with BearFeezie. What's your name and where you calling from?
From Maui, man.
Yes, sir. How you doing? How you doing, Omar?
I'm blessed, brother. I'm blessed. Man, say that man that's sitting next to you, man, he ain't told no lie.
Hey, man. Can you hear him? Can you hear him?
Yeah.
Oh, preach. Yeah, man. We just speaking the facts. Did you have any feelings about systemic racism, Omar?
Man, I give you a little quick I don't know too much about how others feel about it, but I'm a first generation descendant of slavery. If that makes any sense to you. My great grandmother died at night. She was a slave. My grandmother grew up in the house of a slave.
We got some folks trying to talk about it this evening. Go ahead with it, Omar. We got other folks trying to call in. Keep going. Did he hang up?
My great granddaddy got his land back.
He got his land back?
He got his land back. Almost like over 55 acres in northern Florida, in Tallahassee area, outside in the country in Tallahassee. So I know all of this growing up. Growing up, I knew about all these things. He right. My great granddaddy them got their own church. We got a gas station, grocery store in the neighborhood. It's a little country town, but everybody shop at that spot. That he not telling no lies. Bro, my first experience with racism, bro, only started when I was in the 7th grade in Dallas, Texas, bro. The first time somebody ever called me a nigga was a black person, bro, and I ain't really understand it.
Yeah.
And so I hear what he was talking about, like the systematic racism, meaning like, boom, if I sat here and told you that these white people done programmed us with the same shit that we done programmed them, and they using our own shit, they what you say on that one, bro? Give them back their brand. Give it back to them. They telling you they selling you some shit. How the fuck you ain't gonna be able to know the true religion and true God? But these white dudes trying to tell you this whole story of Jesus and all this other here. I'm not going against the grain of the Bible. I call that basic instructions before leaving Earth. It's just a format. I'm saying that if the true and living God was a black God, then who the fuck who started all of this? So he not telling no. He not. Yes, we need to start applying ourselves within our households, teaching. You know what I'm saying? Hey, get your own. Buy from your own. That's one of the reasons why I buy my outfits from you. I don't go to, bro. I don't own no designer clothes, bro. I own
big facts.
Good take shorts.
Big facts.
Bro, this is true facts. This is true facts. I ain't bought. My wife will tell you why you buy this stuff. Why you don't go to the store and buy you some new clothes? Because I don't fuck with them folks like that. Because them folks don't fuck with me like that.
Amen.
You feel me?
See, but it ain't.
If he was a real black man out there making shoes for the black people, I'm talking about he got his own. He going and he creating his own product. He ain't using no sweatshop in Taiwan to go make his tennis shoes. You feel me?
Yeah. So
if it was a black man doing that, I'd buy a black man shoes. And to that day, I'm rocking the same little shoes that I've been rocking for about 5-4 years. I'm that guy.
So I like the fact that he's saying what he's saying, because he there's nothing wrong with buying other things, but you have to be constantly aware of the importance of buying black. And that's what he's saying. Like, I know. I try my best to make sure that.
Omar, we're gonna let you go. We appreciate you for calling in.
I appreciate you calling in. They blowing up the line, Omar. Let me see who else on here.
Yeah, because they
it's going up today.
Threatening us. Appreciate you, Omar.
Yes, sir. It's going. Hey, Mayhem, you got him. You got him on here.
Speak your feelings with. Oh, I got to him late. Hold on, let's call back. They don't call back. They don't call.
They gonna call back. They gonna call back. They own it. They wouldn't letting him ride, was it? They wouldn't letting him ride.
Hello.
Speak your feelings with BearFeezie. You on the line. Speak your mind.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing great. How you doing? What's your name and where you calling from?
I'm doing good. My name is Gabe, and I'm calling from South Carolina.
I'm sorry. What's your name again?
It's Gabe, G-A-B-E.
Gabe. Did you have any feelings?
Gabriel.
Did you have
Gabriel, but I go by Gabe.
Gabe. Yeah, did you have any feelings about what's the systemic racism?
Or what's being said?
Oh yes, for sure. I live in South Carolina.
I love South Carolina.
The most racist state.
It's one of the most racist states
in the United States, I think. You know.
I love. Say what? Let me talk about South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, right? One of my favorite places to visit. Also, I want to make a requirement that I take all young kids to go to Charleston, South Carolina, so you can see the slave quarters of when they come in off there, bro. Charleston, South Carolina is a special state. They call it the New Jerusalem. It sits 33 degrees below the equator. Jerusalem sits 33 degrees above the equator. But Charleston, South Carolina is so important. 80% of all slaves in America came through Charleston, South Carolina. Wow. Man, it's so much history in South Carolina. South Carolina you cannot talk about Black history without talking about South Carolina.
Now, Gabe, what feelings did you want to speak this evening?
Yeah, so like I was saying, it's very we're very segregated here.
Look, what you
By
know
the way,
about what you
like
know about
Hold on, hold on.
what you know about the ropes on the door in Carolina?
oh, I don't know too much about the ropes on the stair, but I do know about the iron fences.
Iron fences. Let me tell you, when you go, if anybody's in Charleston, South Carolina, and you're walking around and you see a plantation and you see ropes around the tops of the doors, that means that the person who lived in that house, he was he owned slave ships. They were the most richest people in Charleston, South Carolina. Their houses had the ropes on them, and you'll see this in Charleston right now in 2022.
Yes, and
They
it's
still have
crazy
slave
because they're
barks over there.
still it's crazy because they still have like weddings on plantations here. Like people would book weddings and come out and get married on slave plantations, and they kept it. Everything is the same, especially in downtown Charleston, and it's just like right in our faces. But I do think we need to like keep our history rich and alive, but then also we're not benefiting from it. You know, the
Amen.
descendants, we aren't.
We are benefiting. We can benefit from the history because, like, what I want to tell people, one of the unique benefits of learning about our history is it can condition you to deal with the adversity that we got today a lot easier. If you think your life is hard now, learn the history of our ancestors, and I bet you appreciate the stuff that you got to deal with today.
Right, most definitely.
Good
And I
word.
think that is so fair because when everybody's like, hey, we don't want our kids to learn about this. No, like in Charleston, South Carolina,
Speak
the
on
murder rate for Black people have skyrocketed. And it's, I think, because they took where we came from off of television. Like, I think people need to see where we were and how we got here, and they would maybe be a little bit more conscious about the way they come out here and act and, you know,
Facts.
in public.
Gabe, you just gave me something else that I wanted to talk about before we get off the line today. I appreciate you calling in very much. It brings in my next subject. Now,
thank you, Gabe.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you so much, guys. Stay blessed.
Yes, ma'am. The critical race theory. They're taking it out of the schools. Like Gabe say, it's important for us to know our history. And like you said, the history helps us deal with life right now, knowing where we came from. It helps us appreciate the position that we're in right now. But it's some people who are filing motions to remove this lesson from the schools.
Absolutely.
Where it's no longer the slave trade and what has happened and how we got here in America is no longer available through the books. What do you think about that? Is it our responsibility? Old
tactic. I wrote about it in my book, Black Massacres.
Give it to us.
In this book, Black Massacres. This is called A Tribute to Black Wall Street, the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre, the 27 Black massacres in America after the Civil War began. But because before the Civil War began, massacring Black people was legal. Massacring Black people was legal.
So it wasn't documented.
It wasn't going to be documented, or it was going to be poorly documented. And I didn't want to bring poorly documented information out here. Right. So after the Civil War started, we started having these Black massacres. And a Black massacre is when a gang of Black people died in the period of a couple days or a couple of hours in the hands of white people, and these Black people didn't do anything to prevent or cause these white people to do this. Most of the Black massacres that happened in this book was directly behind the Black vote. The Ku Klux Klan was invented behind the Black vote. I tell people all the time, when you hear Black people telling other Black people not to vote, you don't understand.
That's a Ku Klux Klan tactic.
If your vote don't count, if your vote don't mean nothing, then why was the Ku Klux Klan invented? To kill Black people? They didn't need to create an organization to kill Black people. That organization wasn't created just to kill Black people. They wasn't just created just because they wanted the people to know they don't like that. That thing was created for one reason, to stop you from voting. That's it. If it wasn't for that, you would have never heard of a Ku Klux Klan. You wouldn't have heard of no white terrorism. It wouldn't have been no Black massacre. These Black massacres happened because of the Black vote. Now, The second thing that I seen, the first thing that I seen in this book that they did, they tried to deter you from voting. So they had voter suppression.
Which is coming back.
Hello?
Which is
they
coming
had
back
voter
today.
suppression. So guess what happened? During these black massacres happened right after the Civil War began. So what do you think happened to the history books that was being wrote during the 1900s or the 1800s or after the first black massacre in this book happened in 1863 in New York City during the Civil War. The Civil War was the deadliest insurrection in the United States of America's history, right? The Civil War was an insurrection. The second most deadliest destructive insurrection in the United States of America was the New York City draft riots, the first black massacre in America in 1863. The second. So you got the Civil War. And then you got the New York City draft riot, which was
a black massacre.
A black massacre. This was the second draft that they had in New York City in 1863. And these were the white folks who did not want to participate for the Union Army to go fight in the South to liberate slaves. They fought against the police and the rich people, and they annihilated over 3,500 black people out of Manhattan. Manhattan was black. Manhattan was all black. That was a borough that was designated for black people before 1863. The New York City draft riot was more destructive than Black Wall Street. Read about it, man.
And I ain't never heard about that.
Never heard about it.
They just talk about the Black Wall Street was one of the you know what I mean?
They
the
talk about Black Wall Street and people, and that's why I wrote the book, because Black Wall Street was the 27th black massacre, 21st black massacres. It was one of the last black massacres. Black Wall Street happened in 1921. The first black 1863. The one in Texas happened in 1910, Slocum, Texas. That was behind jealousy. That was behind jealousy. White people being jealous of black people
doing for self and taking care of their own.
We talking about black people having everything. This white boy was mad because they gave a job to a black man who was in a black town doing black things. He wanted to have a position over all the black people, but they gave it to a black man. White man went and started all type of lies. They came over there and they annihilated all the people in that part of town. Slocum, Texas, 1910.
That's a word. And so what I'm getting, and I get in the mindset of how did we get in this mindset today where we're so passive and so I just want to take care of mine. You know what I mean? Long as I can pay my bills, long as I can take care of my household, we all right. Long as we eating good, I go to this little job. I don't want no trouble. I just
success will make you not listen. So this is what I tell, and I've been watching this. You know, I watch it over and over again.
Yeah,
people, most of our people, when we get successful, we stop listening. Jay-Z, everybody, Lil Wayne, Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
What you doing?
Yeah.
You got $1 billion, bro.
Yeah.
You ain't trying to shut down what you're doing. And say, listen, they're not going to sacrifice what they're doing because they're thinking, man, this is my success and I need to worry about my little thing. And not knowing, like you got a lot of people right now who are not going to leave their money to their children, like Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying? They're going to leave Jackie Chan, somebody like that.
Yeah.
They're going to leave hundreds of millions of dollars to a charity.
Yeah.
It's not going to my family. I'm going to do something else. And I'm saying, bro, what?
Denisha Landers, get back to it, but Denisha Landers said she needs that book, so I want you to let her know how
you can find the book on Amazon.com. You know, and you can look up my name, Mayhem the Mentor, or you can go to my website, mayhamthementor.com, MAHAM, thementor.com.
What if she wants? I think she may be in Dallas. If she in Dallas, can she pull up?
Yeah, if she in Dallas, I mean, you know, you go to my social media.
Yeah.
And just inbox me, you know what I'm saying, if you're in Dallas.
Black massacres. But okay, well, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just want to acknowledge that right now so you can give your info. but you were talking about the Bill Gates of the world and the people.
Yeah, you got a lot of people that got a lot of money, and
Yeah.
they do not see the point or the purpose to. And like I was telling somebody, somebody just came on floor and said, "My family has got their property back." I say, do you know during these black massacres, you know how much black property and was taken? And when I'm talking about not only taken, but these white folks went to the government hall and got all the paper and documents and then paying straight up. And it's still in these white people family too. And then you heard about to do, my family just got their stuff back now.
Hundreds,
2022.
100 years later.
Oh, come on, bro.
50 years later.
And so when I talk about Black history and I hear white people say, man, I don't know why you see a big deal. And I say, because you got unearned benefits. You'll never see the big deal. White people have unearned benefits. There's a lot of stuff that you get that you don't even understand because it's normal for you.
Because your people took it years ago.
You get
and
good
it's
schools.
square business.
No, it's not even that. You ain't about what you took. Because it's not about what you used to do. We talking about unearned benefits with unearned benefits that you finna get tomorrow that you haven't even got yet. You still get them. This is what we talk about systematic racism. Systematic racism is a government system or a system that is set up to benefit another race, not necessarily white. I'm just telling you this. I'm a special ed student who I graduate. I'm a little smart, but I can speak dumb. I can take the hard. I can take it hard to make it simple. You feel me? So when white people say, I don't get it, I don't even see what black people are so upset about. And I said, you can never see it because, again, it's unearned benefits that you receive naturally. And you act like it's never a problem. And you're never going to say it's a problem because it benefits you. It benefits white people. So, of course, you can't say, like, what do you, I don't see it at all. You know what I'm saying?
Square business.
It tastes good. You know what I'm saying? But you don't see it because it's always been here.
Would you say black people and the mindset that we have now is a scared mindset after all these massacres?
I would say that people in the South sometimes, and I can tell you that people in America grow up differently. And I didn't notice it because, I'm telling you, I grew up in California. I grew up in New Mexico. I was in Colorado. I was in Texas. I was in Memphis. I was in Louisiana. I can tell you, you got some black people who are scared of white people. You feel me? Like my boy, Officer Edwards on the Cofield unit. He grew up in Palestine, Texas. You feel me? And I seen the way one day he was acting around one of the white ranking officials who came down on the unit. He was just acting all nervous, and I'm like, damn, are you scared of them white folks? And the man told me, he said, ma'am, he said behind closed doors, every black man is afraid of white folks. And he told me for real, like he was serious, bro. And I felt him, and I was like, damn, man. And I didn't understand. But after reading about the Slocum Massacre and then looking at Easy Money, Mr. Edwards, and I'm saying, bro, when he was a child, he probably was, he's seen this, bro.
Do you think this
this
scared mentality has been passed down?
He was raised like that. His parents raised him because his parents don't know. They know the reality of this. You don't know the reality of them white folk come kill you. You don't believe that. That's a fantasy.
But is it possible that it was passed down to me? Me being raised by my grandma.
Your grandma.
It's not a possibility that it was passed down.
But I can't see it on you.
No, you can't see it. I can't see it. But I'm just saying in the people.
I see it. I have seen the terror, the terror for white people being passed down from black people to black people. I've seen the mistrust in black people, older black people, of the police and the fire department and white folk, because these were the people who participated in these massacres against them. It don't matter if you was a police officer or if you was white, you was attacking us as black people. And then white people say, well, I don't think that my family wasn't racist. But I said, first of all, if your family was in America, they was racist.
It was beneficial.
No, it was the law. It was the law. I don't. It was the law for the black. It's a law called Manutourist Manumissions in 1710. You ever heard of that law? Manutourist Manumissions was a law created that would free any black person of slavery if he would tell on another black person or create something to benefit white people. Look it up. It's called Manutourist Manumissions. It's a law that was created.
That's
right?
Crazy.
But this was a law because they had laws for white people that said it was a law that was created for white people that said if you saw a slave and did not report him, you can be held accountable.
Wow.
Or you can be fined or something. Every white person was required to participate in slavery. I don't understand why white people try to be so innocent. Oh, they had nothing to do with it.
Wow.
If you was in America, you had to participate.
We got one more call. I think it's the same young lady that just called. We're gonna give her 2 minutes.
She calling?
Yeah, she calling again.
Okay.
Hold on, let's go. Just one moment. Give me a second. Let me get back to the Bluetooth. We gonna let
the voicemail.
Gabriel.
Press 2.
Damn, she hung up.
She hung up. Okay. Call back if you want to talk. Call back.
Call back.
Call back. The number is on the screen. Yes, if you got any questions, yeah, that is 940-290-0801. If you have any questions for me, if we lying, we making up stuff. If you don't believe what we saying, you have any input, let's call. We on here this evening, ain't we, JoJo?
Unknown caller.
Okay, here she go. Say, we giving them game. Hey, Mayhem, you going down through there. We on. Speak your feelings with BearFeezie. Hey, how you doing, Gabe?
I'm doing great. This conversation is so awesome. I just want to make another point.
Okay.
So
this
is how I feel. Okay, my dad is super conservative, right? So we always go back and forth about, what has happened to African Americans in America. So I'm just like, they're always saying Black people are lazy. They don't want to do anything. But I'm like, hold on, wait. We are supposed to benefit off of everything of this land. Our ancestors worked their tails off for us to enjoy this land like we built this country. And he doesn't believe that. He's like, everybody, we're individuals. I was like, no, we're not individuals. Just because one person is doing good doesn't mean all of us are doing good. We're in this struggle together. And I just said, like, they're still benefiting off of us, but where is the benefit for us?
Facts.
I think I might be conservative because I kind of agree with Pops.
You kind of.
Okay. I'm conservative.
Yeah.
Okay. You think so? You think that is more for? I mean, that's true. It's more for us to do because we now responsible now knowing that we now knowing that the position we're in, we can't dwell on the past but we are responsible for the continuation and what goes on in the future. So we are responsible for that.
We should be.
If you stay,
that is true, but I'm saying that is true. But the point I'm trying to make is America got so much free labor off of our people. We should be, and I'm going to use this word, we should be handed of things to be afforded to us.
So it should be reparations. It should be reparations.
How old are you? You don't mind me asking.
I am 36 years old.
Okay.
And the reason why I said that, because if you look at property, right? And I'm in South Carolina. People were buying houses, or the government gave houses to people in the time that Black people couldn't buy houses, couldn't get loans.
Talk about redlining.
Okay. And today these houses are worth millions of dollars. Like we don't even have anything in South Carolina called affordable housing. Because listen, if you keep Black people at the bottom, our minimum wage here is $7.25.
Let me tell you some more facts.
You see what I'm saying?
No, that's fact.
Like if we're at the bottom and the houses are $1 million, $350,000, $550,000. What does that say? They're still benefiting, and we're not getting anything out of the system.
Right. They bought these houses at 50,000 years ago, and now able to make $1 million capital off these houses from from labor that was really by us.
They got
years
the
ago.
lands of the Gucci. They got the Geechee land out there in South Carolina, which they constantly take.
And we have a Gullah community.
The Gullah community. They taking that out there.
Yes.
There's a lot of facts that
and
people do not know about about South Carolina, basically Charleston, South Carolina. But
they have taken over Charleston big time.
Did you know? Charleston. Did you know that Charleston had the most Black-owned plantations in the nation? Did you know that?
Listen, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked because it's just
cruelest.
It's the mindset of the South. And I'm saying that because Yeah, like okay, like housing. Let me just make this last point. We have a district. We live at the end of the earth. Charleston, South Carolina, is you can't go any farther than this. So we live on we're below sea level. We're below sea level. So
now,
in Charleston,
we call it the heart. It's got water on all three
yes.
sides of Charleston. It's got a river. You hear me? It's a special place, bro. If you've never been to Charleston, man, I would encourage all, if you're black, you should all go to Charleston and check it out, man, and go on the Geechee tour. The tour.
Yes.
You gotta go. They got tours all over Charleston, South Carolina. It's beautiful. I had the worst thought about South Carolina. I did not want to go because I didn't want to go. You feel me? But I went down there, and I'm telling you, it's one of the most beautifulest places.
And it's beautiful. And the people from up north is coming down and buying property, and they're driving the market up because everybody wants to retire here. Because I love Charleston. My dad was in the Air Force, but we basically was born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina. But what I'm trying to say is, downtown we have the slave market. That's where a bunch of like African Americans work. So they will work for pennies. A lot of Black people sought land in Charleston. So what's happening now, I think it's been taking place for the last 10 years. Like the people that they've been working on the market, right?
Right.
So the Northerners come in and they started creating bigger jobs, right? So when they started creating bigger jobs, they weren't going to the people of Charleston. They were actually bringing people in, taking the job. So it's like, we had house cleaners. You could be a house cleaner. You could work in restaurants. You could be making roses and baskets on the street. And you had enough to pay where you live, pay for your housing. So now they're bringing the jobs. So now the job market is going up. The prices are going up. And now they're like gentrifying. They're taking people's houses from under them from back taxes. Like people have lived in these houses for 60 years. That's what they're doing and paid off.
They're doing that in Dallas right now. And what she's talking about
and when I'm talking about taking, but these white folks went.
They go you know how they redline these people. Black people have been living in these houses.
What's going on in Uptown?
But Black people have been living in not what's going on in Uptown. What she's talking about is we got Black historical families in Dallas, right? They redline that thing, but we'll send the city people to go out and appraise these guys' houses. These Black families have bought these houses 40 to 60 years ago for about $20,000 to maybe $30,000. And now when they come out, they're appraising the same houses for about $100,000 to $200,000, would mean the taxes on these houses are unaffordable, and they end up forcing them. They end up stealing the houses. That is what she's talking about. They're doing it in Charleston, South Carolina, but they're also doing it here in Dallas. That's what we're talking about with the redlining situation in Dallas. That's why they just had a thing about Dallas where they talked about the racial disparities that Dallas had, and then some white people talk, I don't know, they making fun. It's funny. I don't get. People always crying. I said, bro, if you're stupid, bro, I wish I would shut the, because y'all don't know shit. You don't know this is really happening. Really happening.
I appreciate
it.
I appreciate you
and
again.
One more point. Can I just make
Gabe.
one more point?
Go ahead,
I apologize because I am so into it. Because when I talk to my people, about it, it's just like, but we have to have a plan list. And I tell them straight up, if they want it, they're coming to get it, and they're going to go through measures and all means to get it. So when they pay off these taxes, sometimes they pull the rug up under the people. Like you have 30 days in order to come up with the tax money, right? So if you do come up with the tax money, the taxes are still going to accumulate. Like you could come up with it for a month. If you ain't had it 6 months prior, what do you mean that? But you know what? The thing that I wanted to get to is the city limits. Now, all these years, the houses that we buy, we pay taxes for the roads, the police department, the school district, all these other entities, and no one is backing these people, and they're just letting them take it instead of having a reserve for our people. Because some places in Charleston you cannot take because it's reserved for Black people because it's like a Black historic spot or whatever. But other than that, oh my God, our city looks like New York now. High-rise apartments, and we're below sea level. If we flood out today or tomorrow, what's going to happen to the Black people, and they're like pushing them all the way up to Somerville, Goose Creek, North Charleston, and I don't think that's right.
I agree. I agree. That's a great subject that you brought up to us. We're gonna end with that because, like you say, it is.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for calling in, Gabe.
You from South Carolina. How did you come across this show tonight? If you don't mind me asking before we let you go.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So I was just strolling on my Facebook page. I really do look for conscious people to talk to and just be a part of the conversation, because it's like I started to learn, I started to educate myself about what's going on in the world.
Amen.
And then, people are making it seem like, oh no, Black people just have to do better. We have done better. We have, but it's just stigma. Just like, you're lazy, you don't want to. No, we're working our butt off. We just aren't receiving we're not receiving what we've put out.
Facts.
And then
we're not getting
how
our benefits.
Are they living off their ancestors? Listen, they're living off their ancestors. A friend of mine, a white friend of mine that I had growing up, her great grandma passed away, and she doesn't even have to work another day in her life. She can just chill and relax. But us, we still have to work, and like, we're just so behind. And I don't think it's fair for us to say it, but like I always tell people, they don't like us. There's something about us that they don't like. We have to come together and we have to do it for ourselves.
Because they love the benefit out.
So we want to say thank you for calling in. We are here every Wednesday. Like and follow the BearFeezie fan page. We are here.
So next, and you can call in anytime.
This week we're conscious. Next week we might be a little ignorant, but it's all in love. So just thank you and welcome to the party. Appreciate it.
Yes, and you know what? And I do love Malcolm more than I love Martin.
Say that.
All right. Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night, Gabe.
I love both of them.
We made it to another city and state tonight. BearFeezie, you know what I'm saying? BearFeezie.
We made it to a good state, man. Hey, you know one thing? I'm gonna tell you something real quick, especially to the Black Republicans. You understand me? You got a lot of people right now who like, man, you ever see, like, why do we got so many Black Democrats?
Facts.
And you see a lot of Black people right now, the smart Black people, they're like, Black people are Democrats because they're blind and ignorant. They don't even know anything. I'm a Black Republican. Black Republicans think they're the most smartest people in the world. You ever see that?
True.
Right? In my book, right, I wrote about Wilmington, North Carolina.
Okay.
It's a Black massacre that happened in Wilmington, North Carolina in 1889 or 1898. I'm dyslexic, so it's one of those, right? But in this massacre, North Carolina, right? This is crazy. This was the first time that official government elected officials were ran out of their office by white supremacists, and the U.S. government knew about it and didn't do anything about it.
Wow.
But this is also, when I was doing that massacre, I found out why Black people are Democrats.
Okay.
Right?
I'll preach.
You got these Black Republicans love to tell you about Martin Luther King was a Republican. Yeah, that was in 1960.
Okay.
Right? He was in 1960. In 1974, there was a white senator named Jesse Helms from North Carolina. He is the white man responsible for taking the Dixie Democrats and turning them into the Republican Racist Party. He did that in 1974 after Martin Luther King died, got assassinated. He did because of the New Deal, which was by Franklin D. Roosevelt. The New Deal benefited Black people tremendously. White Democrats were upset about it, and they took over the abandoned, terrorized Republican Party that the white racist people have annihilated. They destroyed the race. They ran
So Republican period used to be Democrat. The
Republican people used to be a Black party, political party it started being terrorized in 1870. So the Republican Party was terrorized for 110 years with violence, gunfire, murder, arson. There was nobody brave enough to say, there was no real Republicans out here brave enough in the South to say, I'm a Republican.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing. White people would kill you. These massacres were behind Republicans. Democrats killing Republicans. Democrats killing Republicans. Racist white people killing Republicans until Franklin D. Roosevelt created the New Deal. That's when the Dixiecrats, the Democrats, switched over to the Republican Party. If you don't like what I'm saying, research Jesse Holmes. If you're a black Republican, research Jesse Holmes.
Should we,
and then come talk to me about your Republican candidate and how you feel black people are dumb because we're Democrats. You feel me?
Should we be Democrats or should we have our own?
Democrats.
Should we have our own party?
We should be Democrat. Democrats, what you mean? Democrat is our party.
Democrat is our own party, or are we teaming up with other Caucasian and other?
Are you an American?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Yeah, think about it.
I had to think about it because sometimes I don't feel like it.
Sometimes
but I am.
But whether you like it or not, are you an American?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you pay taxes?
Yes, sir.
Right. Do you understand why our ancestors were killed? Because of our votes.
Because
racism behind what?
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Facts.
It's your vote.
Yeah.
So what can stop racism?
Voting.
What can stop racism? If you ain't voting, you can't even attempt to start anything. So, and before I can get here, I had to learn about Socrates. What does Socrates got to do with racism? Socrates is the guy who created Western philosophy.
We're gonna need a part 2 on this one.
Western philosophy is democracy. So you got to realize that we got democracy because Socrates taught Aristotle. Aristotle taught Plato. Socrates taught Plato. Plato taught Aristotle. Aristotle taught Alexander the Great, who conquered the known world and who implemented Western philosophy. Western philosophy is where we get the idea that the majority of people rule. That one person shouldn't rule everybody. We got to vote. Now, in order for democracy to work, people must participate. If you're not voting on something, you feel me? So now we like vote, be Democrat, do this, don't that, do this, do this. Should we start our own shit? Should we do this? Man, we don't have to recreate the wheel. It's already created. We just got to take it over
and participate.
Did the white folks recreate another party, or did they take over the Republican Party? See what I'm saying? So what we gonna do? We're gonna just abandon. We're gonna just, but I'm not saying follow them. But what I am saying is
participate
so much. So this a reason why I teach about character, entrepreneurship, American history. You feel me? Because if you don't know and respect and appreciate American history, then you can never jump in and alter it. America is different from most countries because we have a thing called a Constitution. The Constitution is what we call a living, breathing document. But the reason why we call it a living, breathing document is because it can be changed.
Amen. We're gonna close on that one. Hey, we need a part 2. Mayhem, I gotta get you back on here. The people tapped in today. We reached South Carolina today. We went down through there, JoJo.
And also, like I said, I'll be making stuff like this. Is some of the things that I get kids to do. This is crap. Like you were saying, like she was telling you that in Charleston, South Carolina, many black people, they go out there to the slave markets and they bring their trades with them. So they got like little
weaving baskets and making stuff. Yeah,
they got little stuff like this. But my thing is, like, if you create your product, you can sell it. So I show kids how to do stuff like this.
Start little workshops and
Black American Pride. You feel me? And I'm a black in America because I never tell somebody to go back
with the red, yellow, and the green, man. Shout out to my cousin Nisha who made my sweater, man.
Back to Africa because I say this is where you were born from.
Hey, man, this our land.
You ain't gotta go nowhere.
This our land. This our land.
And I'm gonna say another thing. Name me another country that produces more intelligent, successful, beautiful black people than America. Name me another country.
Man, I don't know because I ain't never been nowhere to.
You ain't never heard. You ain't gotta be nowhere. You ain't gotta be everywhere. You ain't never heard of nobody told. Ain't nobody ever told you about no another country. Nobody have ever even.
Hey man, I'm gonna take us home, man.
Shout out, no, because you gonna take us home. Yeah. Wait, no, because Mayhem, look. This is what we finna do right quick.
What?
We finna vibe real fast. I know you gotta go.
No, I ain't gotta go.
Say,
I'm out here now. Shit, the road slick.
This is officially the longest.
Be snowed in.
Say, this is officially the longest show that we have done on Speak Your Feelings with
Facts,
BearFeezie, man.
Shout out to Mayhem.
Say we're going on 2 hours and it don't even feel like it.
Nah, for real, I still want to go square.
So we don't have to. Only reason we stopping, because you know the roads, you know what I mean, all that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna have to charge a triple. So, but look, before we get out of here, man.
Okay.
He made me. He asked me what was one of my favorite verses by Tupac.
Don't start there. No, we not. No, we know the hell we not. Don't give a damn about it. Hey, no, we not, JoJo.
What the hell?
No, we not, JoJo. Hey, where can we find your book at, Mayhem?
You can find my book at Amazon.com. You feel me? Or you can go to my website, mayhemthementor.com, and see all the other things that I do. You know,
is this the only one you gonna do? You gonna
no? That's gonna be the series. That's the first book out. It's called. You see it right there. It says the Black American History Edition. So I'm gonna produce 4 books. First one is called Black Massacres. The next one is called Black Excellence. The next book will be called White Excellence. And the last book is When the Moors Ruled Spain. When Black people enslaved white people. And I break that down because I want people to. White people feel like, you know, when we talk about slavery, white people think like they just woke up one day and this. I'm thinking, no, it's not how it happened, man.
Everything.
Black people started everything and did everything. And if we the way I explain it, they will understand how they got involved in slavery. They did not start no slavery. They didn't create it.
Think of it.
They took it and evolved it and turned it into what it is today. But slavery was done to them first. You feel me? And I ain't trying to be bragging about it, but the bottom line is if we don't
ain't nothing new under the sun.
If we ain't addressing it, then we can't digest it.
We ain't addressing
it. We gotta address it. We gotta hold ourselves accountable. We gotta know what we come from and what we can do and what we used to do and be held accountable.
And be held accountable.
But accountability is so important when you talk about Black growth or human being development. Without accountability, a human being cannot grow. Accountability is what we use to correct character. That's it. Accountability corrects character. But the secret to accountability is I cannot hold you accountable if I don't love you.
Preach. Hey, and that's what we're gonna end on it. And that's what we're gonna end on.
Think we gonna end on it. I'm the engineer.
And before we get out of here,
this is a positive vibe. This is a positive vibe for the brothers. We're gonna go on and do it, and I'm gonna let Tupac take us out.
Okay. This is Speak Your Feelings with BearFeezie, season 2, episode 5. What I got from this show is that we need to unify with our dollar and also unify with our vote.
Shout out to Claude Anderson, Dr. Claude Anderson.
Unify with your dollar, black man, and unify with your vote, and we can get right back on track, goddamn me. If you want to do what I'm doing, check in with Uncle JoJo here at the Love Deposit Studios, and you'll get you a 2-hour show that he gonna try to take over at the end. If you want to get him on your show, hey man, I am your host, BearFeezie. Shout out to my guest, Mayhem, the mentor. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you missed this episode, it is on YouTube, it is on Facebook. I'm gonna upload it to Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
And also tell them where we can find you, Mr. Mayhem.
Black Excellence, man. Mayhemthementor.com. I'm on all the social media, Facebook.
Yes, Instagram, sir. This is a great episode, man. We gotta do one. I need this every month. You know we need to talk black. That's what got Gabe to tune in. That title that came from me, Gabe. Talk black to me. Amen.
Yeah.
Man, I'm putting this on Spotify. Don't you get my shit took out Spotify. Hey, man,
my heart expressed the underlying cause of my arrest. My stress and no rest forever weary. My eyes